Okay, so every year in the NFL, you get surprise breakout players, whether they be on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball. For the Philadelphia Eagles, the team that I guess you could guess that I support, I think we have five big names that could really break out for this 2019 to 2020 NFL season. So starting off with some notable mentions, I have defensive end Josh Sweat. He's a second-year player. I think he has room to improve. He got a lot of clowny comparisons coming out of college, and he has that size, he has that measurable, he has that like physicality. He just needs to kind of put it all together. He didn't really play that much his rookie year, but I think he could definitely take a step forward, maybe get a few sacks for us this season. Another notable mention is going to be cre'von LeBlanc, the cornerback. He played pretty well in the playoffs, so I'd say he could also make an argument that he almost did break out then. But I'd like to see some more continued success before I say he has a breakout year. So now getting to my actual list, uh, topping my list is defensive end Derek Barnett. For those of you who don't know, he's a third-year player from Tennessee. You probably didn't really hear his name that much last season because he actually got injured after the third game. He had a shoulder injury and he got surgery, so he was out for the entire year after the Colts game. The reason I think he's going to break out is because for those first three games, he was playing extremely well. If you don't remember, he actually pretty much clinched the Colts game for us with a game winning sack on Andrew Luck. And overall, he just improved a ton. But his season got cut short, which is why we never really got to see his full potential. His rookie year was solid. He was in the right place a lot of the time, which is something you want to see. But I'd like to see some more consistent like pressure on the quarterback, and he was bringing that to start off the season. This isn't really like a crazy pick. He's a first round pick, so like it's pretty obvious why I think he's going to break out. He has the talent. He just needs to see if he can put it all together on the field. Now, my second player is someone from the same draft class, actually. Third year corner out of Washington, Sidney Jones. Everyone knows what Sidney Jones' problem is. It's being his health. His health is completely questionable. He pretty much missed his first year, the entirety of his rookie year, with a Achilles tear that he tore during his pro day. Then last season, he dealt with constant hamstring injuries. I don't know if you remember the second Cowboys game, but this man was legitimately running after Amari Cooper while like mid limping because our secondary depth was just so bad, and he was forced to play through an injury. He's shown some flashes, but he's also shown himself getting completely burnt. He has that talent though. He was almost a consensus first. He was pretty much the first overall cornerback in that 2017 NFL draft class. So he has that talent. He just needs to prove that he can like stay healthy and be on the field for as long as possible because he's had some ups and he's had some downs. He just needs to be more consistent. Looking at like our cornerback room right now, you got players like Rasul Douglas. I think pretty much you have an outside corner spot locked down in Ronald Darby. I don't know if he's going to stay with us, but he's pretty much locked out to be our number one corner. Then you got, I think Avante Maddox will probably start as our second corner, maybe. Rasul Douglas also had like a ton of ups, I think, near the end of the season, and he flashed a lot. So he's in that group. Jalen Mills is also in that group, but he gets burnt a lot. cre'von LeBlanc, like I mentioned previously. So the problem with Sidney Jones here is the cornerback room is so competitive. So like I could see him not even make it on the field if he has like a bad training camp. But if he makes it to the starting roster, I think he will for sure have a breakout season. Next up, I have second year player Dallas Goedert, the tight end. He was he had a very solid rookie season. He had so many like successes. I did not expect him to be on the field as much as he would with a healthy Zach Ertz also playing. But looking at our training camp right now, we are running a lot of two tight end sets. And that means that you're going to have Zach Ertz on one side, and you're going to have Dallas Goedert on the other side. We saw how much Carson Wentz likes to feed his tight ends almost. I don't like that narrative because he actually targeted Zach Ertz almost the same amount as Nick Foles did. But like he likes these like security blankets, and Dallas Goedert is pretty much one of those security blankets. I'd say he's almost more. He has a higher ceiling than Zach Ertz almost. I think he's not as good of a blocker. I think, or he's almost as good as a blocker, but like he's just more athletically gifted, I feel. And he like if you look at his highlight reels, he got some crazy catches in college. And I think he just needs another year. Tight ends usually take 2 to 3 years to fully like develop into their role in the NFL. This is the really common thing. Other than maybe Evan Ingram for the Giants like 2 years ago, most tight ends take a couple years to fully develop before they break out. And I think he has a really high potential of breaking out. Next up at number 4, I got cornerback Avante Maddox. He's also a second-year player from Pittsburgh. And like I said with Sidney Jones, this cornerback room is so competitive. So like whichever one I think of Avante Maddox and Sidney Jones makes it out into the starting lineup, whether it be in the slot or on the outside, I think Avante Maddox is probably more in tune to play in this slot because he's just more like agile and he's not that big, so he can't really cover big guys. He's only around 5'9", 180 pounds. So like he needs some more like weight to him and height, I guess you could say, and you can't really give him a drug to make him get taller. So I think he's more fit to play in the inside. But he had a hell of an end of the year. He was playing amazingly. And I think if you actually like start him, he could definitely be one of the breakout players for our team next year. Now at number 5, I think for my last player, I have a very surprising one. Miles Sanders, the rookie running back from Penn State. Now this is surprising because Doug Peterson, he loves to cycle through his running backs. He's done it all 3 years he's been here. He loves that running back by committee. And we have Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard for sure limit Miles Sanders touches. Like that's not even a question. You brought in this powerhouse back, pretty much this player to replace LeGarrette Blount. He's a better LeGarrette Blount too. You're going to use him. You traded for Jordan Howard, and we should use him because Jordan Howard is an amazing player. But one thing that Jordan Howard has nothing on over Miles Sanders is his receiving ability. Miles Sanders is head and toes all way better than Jordan Howard at catching the ball. And that's where he's going to get his plays. I think he's going to get around 200, maybe even more than 200 touches. And it's because he's going to be receiving the ball. Darren Sproles still hasn't signed back yet. We don't know what's up with him. Josh Adams didn't really catch the ball, and he kind of just mysteriously disappeared with some phantom injury at the end of last year. Wendell Smallwood maybe catches a few screens, nothing much. Boston Scott is actually on the team. I don't really know much about him. I know he was drafted by the Saints. I don't think he was used a lot because of Alvin Kamara and Ingram. So he might be a player to look for. Donnell Pumphrey straight up sucks. I don't know why we drafted him. The only player who has any competition to Miles Sanders receiving wise is Corey Clement, and he's coming off an ACL tear, so that should very much limit him. So looking at it, Miles Sanders is a pretty clear pathway to be the number 2 running back wise, standard running back wise. He'll probably get the second most carries on the team, and he will definitely have a ton of receptions because he showed he could do it in college, and Jordan Howard is not a threat. So I think that could very much lead to a breakout campaign for Miles Sanders. Well, that concludes my top 5 list. If you enjoyed my video, give it a like, subscribe if you want more content like this. I'm planning to make more during my summer vacation. Anyway, peace out.